Okay, sweetie, we're going to take a look at your review sheet at number 1 first because we didn't get a chance to go over this. Okay, so number 1 on your review sheet, your test review, says for f of x, the function f of x equals x cubed plus 1, write the rule for g of x equals f of x plus 2. And what that means is that you just take your f of x, right here, the x cubed plus 1, and you're putting it in, that's your f of x, and then adding on 2. Okay, so if you take a look in your book on page 460, it gives a chart. And the chart tells you all of the different notations for f of x, all right? So when you're adding something on like that, all it does is shift it either up or down on the y-axis, okay? And in this case, since we're adding 2, then it shifts it up. So if this purple curved line right here is the original graph for f of x, okay? So this is the original graph, and I'm going to write that in. So this is your f of x right here. Oops, I didn't. There we go. Okay, well, that's supposed to be f of x. Sorry about that. So this is the graph for the x cubed plus 1, okay? But when we change it to our g of x and apply this rule by adding 2, it shifts it up on the y-axis. So the graph stays exactly the same, but it just shifts it up 1, 2. So it'll look like this instead. And then come down. Okay, and then keep going down and following this. But all it does, it just shifts it up 2 units. 1, 2. That's it. Okay? All right, so something you should know, and I'm going to bring this down here. Okay, so here we just kind of did this example. Something that shifts up 3 units. So the graph for this one, okay, when you add on, then it just shifts it up 3 units from the origin. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to write that in. So it's going to look something like that. Very rough, very, very rough. Okay, if it had been a minus 3, x cubed minus 3, it would have shifted it down. 1, 2, 3, and then you would have had a curve coming down right here. Okay, so versus something that's, now notice that's just adding on 3 to the x cubed. But if you have a plus 3 in parentheses and that entire quantity is cubed, then it shifts it either to the right or to the left. So when it's just added on, it shifts it up or down. And you can take a look at page 460 at that chart. Okay, but when it's in parentheses, it's going to shift it to the right or left. So in this case, then it shifts it to the left. So a negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then you get something that looks like this going through that point right there, okay? Because it's shifting it, you just take the opposite of this positive 3, negative 3, 1, 2, 3. If it had been an x minus 3, oops, okay, I need to look where I'm writing. Quantity cubed, then you take the opposite plus 3 and shift it 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then you'll have your curve here if it had been a minus. But since it was a plus 3 in the example I gave, then you shift it to the left. Okay, and that's it. Like I said, take a look at page 460 and it goes over that. This was the example in your number 1. I just gave you these 2 examples. Okay, but you know, take a look at that, and that's all it is. All right, okay, very good.